Hey, it's Andy, and I remember when I heard my very first podcast that inspired me to do what you're hearing right now. It felt like I was in on this secret, and I had a whole new edge to my leadership. And that's what I want for you. I want you to feel like, hey, I can listen to Andy on my drive into work and feel like I learned something new and I can apply it today. Most of all, I want you to finish today's episode feeling better about yourself and how you're moving forward. That's my greatest desire for you. And I believe this episode today can change how you look at everything and push your growth at a 10 times more rapid rate than it was at before. With that said, here we go. Welcome to the Leading Life Podcast, the place where leadership meets real life. Here is where we talk about leading with intention, living with clarity, and getting better results for the people we serve every single day. If you're ready to grow, you're in the right place. Right now, on today's episode, the one thing that is killing your growth. Welcome to the Leading Life Podcast, where we talk about what it takes to grow, lead, and live with purpose. No fluff, no empty motivation, just real conversations and practical wisdom that you can use today. And what if I told you that the biggest thing holding you back right now isn't your boss, isn't your circumstances, isn't your age, isn't your lack of opportunity, all those things we tell ourselves? No, it's none of that, but it's your need to be right. That's it. The desperate need to protect our own beliefs, to defend our own identity, and to win the argument instead of learning from it. And you know what the scary part is? Most people don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're being intelligent, or they think they're being the strongest one in the room. They think they're standing on their principles, but often they're just protecting ego. And that one thing, your desire to be right, is quietly killing your growth. Hear me on this. The people who grow the most are rarely the loudest in the room. They're the ones willing to say, you know what? Maybe I got this wrong. Today, we're going to talk about how your brain tricks you, how confirmation bias quietly runs your life, and why humility may be the greatest competitive advantage you'll ever develop. Let's get into it. Let's start with this first, though, and that's the ego trap. Most people think growth comes from information. It really doesn't. Growth comes from confrontation, not confrontation with other people, but confronting yourself. That means your blind spots, your excuses, your patterns, your pride. Pride is sneaky. Pride doesn't walk in and announce itself. It whispers, I already know this, or I'm not the problem. Maybe they just don't understand me, and that advice doesn't apply to me. That's your ego at work, and the ego hates correction because correction feels like a threat, especially when your identity is attached to being competent, respected, and admired. People would rather stay stuck than admit they're wrong. And why? Well, because wrong feels like weakness. But here's the truth. Being wrong is not weakness. Refusing to learn is. You know, I used to work with a great young woman who had immense potential. And it was interesting because we literally walked through the door into our new exact same positions the very same day. And like I said, she was really bright. But unfortunately, she became very into proving herself by wanting to be right all the time and having all the answers. Whereas in the positions that we were in the time we were working together, we worked with some of the greatest minds in our industry. And unfortunately, she didn't tap into that and really be open to learning. She was more into being right. And unfortunately, she didn't last long. Let's talk psychology. Because your brain is not designed for truth. It's designed for survival. That means your brain loves certainty. It loves patterns. It loves protecting your emotional comfort. One of the biggest ways it does this is through something called confirmation bias. And confirmation bias is your brain's tendency to search for and notice and believe information that comes from what you already think, while ignoring anything that really challenges it. So in simple terms, you see what you want to see. If you believe your spouse doesn't appreciate you, you'll notice every time they don't. If you believe your team is working against you, you'll interpret neutral behavior as disrespect. And if you believe success only happens for lucky people, you'll collect proof of unfairness and ignore examples of discipline. Your brain becomes your personal defense attorney, not your truth teller. And that's dangerous because once belief becomes identity, facts will become enemies. Next, I want you to think about the mental blocks that keep you small. Here are a few major mental traps that quietly sabotage our growth. Let's hit them all. Number one, confirmation bias. Like we just covered, you don't seek truth, you seek validation, and that kills your growth. The other one is cognitive dissonance. This is the discomfort you feel when your actions and beliefs don't match. So a good example is you say, oh man, my health matters, but you keep skipping going to the gym or going for a run. You say family matters, but work gets all your best energy. So instead of changing behavior, many people change the story. They just say, well, I'm so busy right now, or I deserve this. It's not that bad. That's self-protection, not self-awareness. So remember, cognitive dissonance, the comfort you feel when your actions and beliefs don't match. The next one is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And this is powerful because people with low competence often overestimate their abilities. Why? Because they don't know enough to know what they don't know. Let's read that again. Because they don't know enough to know what they don't know. And the loudest confidence in the room is often the least informed. Real experts usually sound calmer because wisdom creates humility. The next one is identity protection. And this is a big one because when being right becomes part of who you are, your growth feels like a betrayal. And if you admit you're wrong, you start questioning, well, who am I? And that fear keeps people trapped for decades. Let's talk about how the need to be right will affect your leadership. Let me say this clearly. Bad leaders need to be right, but great leaders need to get it right. There's a big difference. As I always say, focus not on being right, focus on doing right. A weaker leader protects position. A stronger leader protects truth. Some leaders shut down feedback because it threatens their authority. But some parents do this. Some spouses do this. Some managers do this. Some friends do this. They don't want honesty. They want agreement. And that's just not leadership. That's insecurity with a title. The best leaders I know ask hard questions like, hey, what am I missing? Or how did I contribute to this very problem? Or what truth am I avoiding here? That takes real strength. Leadership is not dominance, it's responsibility. You know, one of the best questions I ever heard was from my friend Rob, and it is this: what are the questions I should be asking about the things I don't know yet? Because the biggest risk is often what you don't know you're missing. Again, what are the questions I should be asking about the things I don't know yet? It tells people, hey, I'm open. I'm not assuming I know everything. I want blind spots exposed. I care more about truth than my ego. And that's incredibly strong. You could even make it sharper depending on the context. Like, what am I not seeing that I should be paying attention to? Something like that. All right, the next thing I want you to think about is the cost of always trying to be right. Let's talk consequences, because this isn't just philosophy. This affects your marriage, your career, your friendships, your parenting, everything. When you always need to be right, you stop listening. People stop being honest with you, and trust will erode. Relationships become performance, and your growth stops. And eventually, you just become surrounded by people who either fear you or fake agreement. And that's a lonely way to live. And worse, you mistake comfort for wisdom. You think peace means progress. Sometimes peace just means nobody bothers correcting you anymore, and that should scare you. So let's talk about how to break this habit. How do we get out of wanting to be right all the time? How do we fix it? Simple, but not easy. But here's how. Number one, replace defensiveness with curiosity. Instead of saying that's not true to something, ask a question like, hey, tell me more. That one phrase can change your life. If someone says something to you that challenges something you believe, ask for more information. Ask for more substance behind it. It can open your eyes to things you've never thought about. Number two, ask better questions. Don't ask, how do I prove I'm right? Ask, what if I'm wrong? That question is really powerful. Number three, separate identity from opinion. Changing your mind doesn't make you weak, it makes you intelligent. Like I always say, some of the smartest people I know walk on the line of contradiction because they're getting more information, they're learning different things. Growth requires updates. You're not a statue, you're a living system. Number four, seek discomfort. Yes, seek it. Growth rarely feels good in real time. It feels like embarrassment, correction, reflection. That discomfort is not danger, it means development. And then number five, build people around you who tell the truth. Not cheerleaders, not truth tellers, people who love you enough to really challenge you. Those people are priceless. like my spouse. I cannot say that enough. Protect those people. One of my partners over all these years in leadership, life, business, all of that, him and I will sit down every once in a while and just look at each other and say, I need you to tell me the truth about what I'm doing right now. Am I on my game? What do you think I could improve upon? And we have that open space to answer those questions for each other and really tell each other the hard truth. That's invaluable. Here is your leadership edge for this episode. Most people want admiration. Few people pursue self-awareness. But self-awareness is the real superpower, because once you can see yourself clearly, everything changes. Your leadership improves. Your spouse, relationships, marriage improve. Your peace of mind improves. Execution improves. Life improves in general. Your growth is hiding behind the truths you keep avoiding. Here is your call to action for this episode. Today, I want you to ask yourself one question. Where in my life am I protecting ego instead of pursuing the truth? Is it at work? Is it at home? Is it in your relationships? Is it your health, your leadership, your discipline? Where are you defending instead of developing? Find it, face it, and fix it. Because the need to be right might be the very thing keeping you from becoming who you were supposed to be. So again, 1, replace defensiveness with curiosity. Tell me more. Number 2, asking better questions. Number 3, separate identity from opinion. Number 4, seek discomfort. And number 5, build people around you in your life who tell you the truth. And here are some reflection questions I want to give you to think about. Where do I become the most defensive? I want you to think about that one. And what truth have I been avoiding? Who in my life tells me the truth? And what belief about myself may be limiting my own growth? Then lastly, am I more committed to being right or becoming better? The strongest people in the world are not the ones who never change, but they are the ones humble enough to evolve, because growth begins the moment pride ends. All right, so that is today's episode. And if it gave you practical leadership insight, please share it with someone building a team, growing their influence, or would love this advice about leadership. And if it made a positive impact on you, I'd truly appreciate a quick rating and review, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next on the Leading Life Podcast. This is a place where we don't just talk about leadership, we really live it. I'm Andy Zook. Remember, I want you to lead with purpose, live with intention, and keep becoming who you were meant to be. But most importantly, go out today and be the hero in somebody's story. I will talk to you on the next episode. Have an amazing day. Take care. Bye.